Hello everybody, 2015 BMW. If we have a coolant leak, this is most likely what you need. Oil cooler and a housing. It's going to be a long work. Let's get started. Once you take the air box out of the way, top padding out of the way, this is what you see. I went ahead and disconnected the radiator hose. You can pry this up and remove it. If you have a coolant, you got to drain the coolant. In my case, the customer had added water, so we're getting nothing but water. I removed these two already. I also disconnected this one. Disconnected the wire harness mount here. Disconnect the wire harness. Now we're going to try to move the intake manifold a little bit higher, because to get access to the bolts under here for the cooler and the engine coolant flange tube, we need to remove the intake manifold. The intake manifold has two bolt here, and we got one here, we got one there, one there, one here, one right there, one right under those wiring harnesses. What we need to do is, there you go, you can see the bolt now. Remove those bolts and gently pry the manifold up enough out of your way so you can get access to those bolts. And honestly, if you are about to take the manifold off, I would inspect it and see if there's any carbon buildup. This is a diesel car. If it is, do the cleaning. If it isn't, it's gonna be, has a lot of mileages on it. After that, we will get to that housing right there. That housing is plastic. We ended up getting the upgraded aluminum from ECS, I think it's called, or what's the other website? Upgraded aluminum, we got that one. We got the actual radiator housing tube. That's how it looks. That's the gasket on it. Normally this gasket leaks. It cracks and breaks. All 3 series, 5 series have the same damn problem with these flanges. They're different size, different length, different look. Issue is the damn same. Shame. And they're all under the manifold. You do have to, diesel or not, you have to take the manifold up out of the way completely, either, or just loosen it and move it out of the way. Let's get started. Everybody, now you don't have to remove the entire intake manifold to get to the oil cooler, which is mounted down here, or to the oil coolant flange, which is mounted right here with those 2 bolts on top. We're replacing it because the oil cooler was leaking. We got a coolant leak everywhere. I also feel that one of those return lines for the coolant is also leaking, because when I feel it, it's extremely brittle. I will do a coolant system under pressure to double check we're not running into any defective coolant lines. I did end up showing the customer the soot buildup into his intake manifold, throttle body, EGR valve cooler. EGR valve itself is defective. I did make it mount right there. Here's the old cooler. How you remove it is you got 6 bolts here, 3 here, 3 right here. These bolts here are right against the alternator. You can get to the top one. These 2, the alternator power cable runs alongside. You're going to need to get that cable removed from its securing points. Pull it up and you'll be able to access these 2 bolts. This section is blocked. This coolant line here. This screw holds the oil feed and return. That's the return coolant line here. Here's our new one. We're waiting for customer's approval on some of the other things, because the EGR valve right here, we had an EGR valve code, is stuck open. What happens is when I energize the coil to close it, it does not want to respond. It does respond to opening. It makes a noise. That's one thing we're waiting for. Let me show you what's look like inside the intake manifold. It's been soaking for the last 3 hours already. You can see right here, there's a heavy soot buildup in there. This right here is our pipe that connects to the throttle body. You can check this out. Now, EGR valve cooler. I have sprayed a lot of cleaner and it's working. That stuff came out of there. I'm going to clean all this and put this one back into the car. If yours looks something like this, and give yourself about a good day. You got to soak all this stuff up. Then you can use air pressure to remove whatever you can. Then do a wash with a lot of WD-40 carburetor cleaner, and then dry it with air. Make sure there's no residue or liquid inside before you put this back together. Here's the first part that has been cleaned so far. I have, you can see now, before. You remember how bad it was. This right here, you can take it out and complete it, clean it, and this goes back in here. You have to install it back in. That's how it should be. That's how it's cleaning right now. I'm not too worried about outside because it's always dirty. I used that brush. I soaked it in a mix of carburetor cleaner, WD-40. Let it sit for a few hours, and I've simply used the air pressure to get rid of the loose debris. And then I had to work with the brush and dry it with the towel. Realistically speaking, this little section soaking took about 4 hours. Cleaning took about good 45 minutes with the brush. You do have to take your time. The other manifold is getting cleaned right now. I'm gonna go to that one and I'll share it with you. I'll share with you how it looks after I'm done cleaning that. Here we go. That part's cleaned. You already seen it. Here's this part. So this part is cleaned. You can see the butterfly sections. Got it. Look at the cooler. We have cleaned the cooler inside. I cleaned that pipe. We can take a look inside the cooler here. The cooler's cleaned. That's cleaned. That's cleaned. The engine's cleaned. Next, I'm going to try to install the oil cooler. I do have to install this flange. You can see the new gasket over here. It's a new flange. We got an old one sitting right here. Did the gasket fail under this? Possibly. This guy is mounted right here with 3 bolts. The cooler is mounted down here. We're going to end up cleaning all the surfaces for the cooler and put the cooler back in. Once you finish cleaning your intake manifold, make sure you plug in your glow plug controller back in. Make sure you plug in your motor for the flip valves back in. Make sure you plug in your vacuum sensor back in here. These bolts that are part of the manifold will not fall off no matter how many times you shake. We're going to go ahead and plug this one back in. The trick is sliding this manifold nice and slow between the wiring harness so you don't actually break any wires or vacuum lines. The reason I have the whole front disconnected is because I had to take out the EGR cooler and EGR valve to clean that as well. To get to that, you have to remove the radiator fan shroud assembly and the protective cover of the front end to get to it. You also need to disconnect these AC lines from their mounts, not from the actual system. Leave them connected. We also cleaned the throttle body a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and guide this one. I'll be right back. Another thing I did is when you are guiding the manifold back in, you have to make sure that these wire harness right here is not in your way underneath the manifold right in the corner there, because it will get underneath when you put the manifold back together. But when you torque it down, you're gonna crush the glow plug wires. I also had removed the upper cover just to get access to that side and see what's going on back there, because there's a bolt back here. You see that one? You cannot get to it without moving things around. I figured it was better to do it right here. Here we got brand new oil cooler in here. We have a new water outlet on it. Water outlet flange right there, you can see. The old one, here's the old one, and it goes right under here. To get to these upper 2 bolts is why we need to take the manifold, loosen the manifold, slide it up. You don't have to take out entirely. If you see it all sewed up and dirty, then of course go ahead, pull it out. If it's your car, or call the customer for an approval. If it's customer's car, you would be surprised because sometimes customers don't approve that kind of work. Now we're just gonna start to plug things in. There's a wire harness that goes back to this diverter valve. Then this plug harness here is for your glow plug controller. You can go ahead and install this plug here for your glow plug controller before you try to actually put everything back together. Vacuum sensor here, we have a plug for it. Plug this guy in. Good. Lock it. So we got the vacuum plug sensor plugged in. We got the glow plug sensor plugged in. The dipstick here you will have to pull it up and out of the way to get the manifold out. Otherwise, you can't get the manifold out. If you try, you just might break it. Be careful with that. So the cooler is installed. We got the flange installed. I'm gonna go ahead and try to torque this manifold down. Move on to the front end. We did take the front end off, including the radiator, fan shroud and stuff, to get to the EGR cooler housing that goes like this in here. That I'm waiting for EGR valve. It's defective. I'll come back once I have all the parts. Unfortunately for me, this is where I stop. I cannot connect any of this side because I gotta work on the EGR side. I'm waiting for the EGR controller. The rest of the stuff back there is installed. We have one screw to install. It is for your dipstick right here. To do that, you're just gonna line the dipstick up, make sure it's pushed down all the way down. You don't want to have any leak. This right here is a plastic screw. What I mean by that, if you have a lot of screws and you don't know which one to use there, you're gonna use this one here. This is plastic threaded screw. This right here is for the metal. So that's the one we're gonna install there, tighten it down, and this side basically is complete. I don't see anything else that needs to be connected. I've gotten all the radiator lines connected, all the wirings connected, the harness back there is connected, this dipstick is connected, the front is left. Now if you're trying to remove your radiator fan shroud, you do have to disconnect this part of the radiator hose out of the way, because the radiator fan shroud would not come out until this is disconnected. We're going to remove this out of the way. The radiator fan shroud will slide up. To get it to slide up, see the lock? We're going to need to push on that lock in. Radiator fan will slide out. On this side as well, here's your fan controller plug, slider knob, lock in, drop in, and slider knob. With the persuasion, this will slide up. Then you'll get access to a little cover in the front. Remove that by 3 10mm bolts. And you get access to the cooler. The cooler itself is connected by 2 bolts onto the mounting part. You have 1 bolt right here that's holding the cooler in place. Then you have 1 bolt right here that's holding the cooler in place. Then you have 1 bolt right here that's holding the cooler in place. We're going to remove these 3. At the bottom, you have this cooler line, engine coolant line, going into the cooler housing assembly. You have to remove these 2 bolts for the EGR line going to exhaust manifold. We're going to remove these 2 bolts and then take it out. These bolts look like this. I already dropped one, but I'll show you right here. These are very light, and I think they're stainless steel. You can see they're easy to remove. Because they're using exhaust, you don't want steel in there or metal or something. Those are better bolts so they don't get stuck in. Cooler then comes up and mounts to these 2 bolts here. To get to this bolt, you're gonna make sure this one is in first, and you can get to this. Once you remove this halfway, then you can remove this and take it out. Let me show you the cooler. Here's the actual cooler. These are the mounting bolts that I'm talking about that are connected. The EGR valve itself is connected with these 2 coolant lines. It goes in here. It looks something like this here. These are the 2 coolant lines that go to it. It sits in here like this. If you're trying to remove this and it doesn't want to budge, it's because it is stuck in here. You see that? This sucker was in there. Once you get these cooler lines disconnected, the EGR valve itself will come off. This is one of the engine coolant lines that you have to disconnect. This is the one I showed you there. This is where the 2 of the upper bolts will get connected to. That is the section that connects with the exhaust manifold. This is a vacuum line that goes to the solenoid. I'm going to show you where that is. The back section of it, you don't have to touch anything here. That stays connected. Let's go back up once again. A vacuum line comes up and connects to this solenoid that is sitting right here. Yeah, you're going to need to connect it here. This right here is your burr or valve control motor. You have to plug this in. I really think you can do this work if you want to do it yourself. It just requires a lot of patience. This is a tight little car. If you're trying to get this done in what, an hour or so, I would say no, because you'll get upset and you might break things. And when people get upset, they force things and break them. Actually turns out to be more work than you actually signed up for. This is the other vacuum line that needs to push and fit onto it. We cannot connect the throttle body until the EGR is connected, bolted down by the mounts, bolted down there, connected with the engine coolant lines, plugged in. Then we'll install this part and tighten these bolts into it. What goes in here is your sensor, which I had to disconnect. This sensor goes in and you thread it down like that, tighten it up. Everybody, if I get a chance to make the rest of the video, I will. This is what it takes to replace your cooler and the upper radiator hose flange tube. Also, what it takes to remove. This is also what it takes to remove your cooler and clean it up. I really hope your car is not this dirty. And if it is, give yourself some time. Clean it up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Hopefully you got an idea what it takes to deal with the BMW. It's fun.